Good morning, good morning, good morning. Here we are in the wide open fields of East Kent. I've just had a blood test. The most cheerful phlebotomist, whatever they're called. Something with phlegm in it. And complaining that she works on the NHS but she can't get an NHS dentist. So there you go. That's how my day started. But anyway, I've got something a little bit, well, it's certainly relevant to dentistry. A little bit of an odd topic. A little bit of an under-discussed topic in my opinion. I've never known anybody really discuss it. And that is how to dispose of all the second-hand crowns that you extract and the teeth that you extract. You know, that have got crowns on and crowns that have fallen off and anything with your scrap metal, what we call your scrap metal, scrap dental gold it used to be called now, although I suppose a lot of it's not gold anymore, is it? You know, and on the face of it, it should be worth quite a bit of money because gold now is $2,800 an ounce. And oh, and hang on. There we go. So what do you do with your scrap gold? Now what I've done is I've saved it up. We got a pot, and anything that we extract that's you know, got any sort of precious metal on it, we stick it in the pot. We always say to the patient, like, do you want it? And they always say no, because what the hell are they going to do with it? You know, every dentist has got this pot of stuff, you know, that's worth a bit of money. But the question is, how much money? Now, how much, right? So, and I've always been intrigued by this question because, you know, you send it off, they say, oh yeah, it's worth X pounds, and you're like, okay. And then they, you know, they sweeten the deal by paying you in cash, and so and it's just a sort of a routine, you know, that goes on selling your scrap gold. Now, after getting on for just over 9 years now, we had a fair old chunk of stuff. I think it's about 400-500 grams. I can't remember. But then don't forget, that's not all gold. That's, you know, it's got teeth in it, basically. I mean, someone can have a bridge fall out, or an implant fall out or something, and it all goes in the pot. So I should imagine quite a lot of it is actually not precious metal. You know, probably the bulk of it is not precious metal. And then the processing people have got the problem of dealing with it, haven't they? Because it's a biohazard, really. So God knows how they do it. I should imagine there's some sort of preliminary sorting into, obviously they separate the gold out probably, they separate out the implants and separate out the anything else. But and then I should imagine they put it through some sort of grinder where they just mash it all up and then separate the metal out from the bits of teeth. I don't know. Perhaps I should go to one of these facilities and do a quick video on it, you know, about see how they do it. But anyway, that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is this: we sent it off to one place that says, "Oh, we do a free estimate." So, and they were like pretty dead quick and everything, and rang us back a couple of days. Yeah, we've stuck it on the scales. We reckon it's about 400 quid or something, 500 quid's worth. Now, I mean, I'm not stupid. I know that the gold is not 100% gold. It's not 999 gold, and so it's dental gold, isn't it? So really, it's still, for the most part, it's still pretty high in 60% gold, I would say. And then you've got the other stuff, the platinum and the palladium crowns. the what they call the precious metal alloy. So even that's got some precious metal in it. Well, not a great amount, but I mean, you know, some. So for nearly half a kilo of this stuff, to get 450 quid as a quote, I was a little bit suspicious, because it seemed to me that I was a little bit on the low side. And so this comes down to the basic trust, isn't it? The bloke comes round, he says, yeah, you know, you've got 20 quid's worth there, do you want the cash? And they say yes, and then they give you the cash and off they go. Now, so we asked for the stuff bag. We said we need to get more than one quote, and they had no problem, send it back. So they sent it back. We sent it off to another firm, and this other firm, to be honest with you, was a bit of a nightmare. They're like, oh, we're inundated, we'll give you a quote by next Tuesday. And then they didn't give us a quote by next Tuesday, so we rang on Wednesday and they said, oh well, we'll definitely give you a quote by next Tuesday. So next Tuesday came and went, they still don't give us a quote. So we rang on the Wednesday and said, oh, we'll give you a quote by next Tuesday. And we said, well, you keep saying that. So he's saying, well, look, you know, because we've told you we would give you a quote by last Tuesday, I'll definitely make sure that you get put at the top of the list, right? So at this point, we thought we'd done the gold. We thought this is not a reputable, but my receptionist reassured me that this was a long-standing, old, and reputable gold recycling company, and that you know, they shouldn't have just run off with our gold. So anyway, we got a bit fed up with this in the end, and so we rang them up and we said, look, when can we expect a quote? And they said, well, you know, you're at the front of the queue, but we haven't done it yet. So we said, well, in that case, look, if it's too much trouble, just send it back. Just send it back. So anyway, lo and behold, later that afternoon, we got a phone call with a quote. And the quote was, steady on when you hear this, about 1,400 quid. Now, I mean, I don't mind, let's say, if one of the quote had been 600 and the other one had been 700 or something, I already would have swallowed that. But 400 and something and 1,400 and something is not, there's some serious discrepancy there, isn't there? Which has tended to reinforce my belief that the whole thing is a bit of a bloody con. And this is a question of tangibility. It's like, we don't know when we're selling the scrap gold, or your receptionist, when they sell it, they don't know. They have not got the first clue about the price of gold or how much scrap gold is or whatever. And so what they do is they just hand it over, they get 20 quid or something in return, and they're happy, and that happens once a month or whatever. And they see it as a bit of regular income, you know, it's like a bit of bunts. And so as far as they're concerned, they're very happy with the arrangement. Now, the discrepancy, especially the lower offer, leads me to suspect that ripping dentists off for their scrap metal is a commonplace thing. And these guys who come round and just give your nurses 20 quid, I think they are the agents of the crooks that vastly underprice. Now, you can't really complain that they vastly underpriced it, because they will say, we gave them a price, and you know, we gave them a price and they accepted it, and that's it. Contract, offer acceptance, consideration, and that's it. And they could argue that quite fairly. The problem comes in the lack of tangibility, insofar as that we are not really cognizant at all of the price of a motley assortment of disgusting old crowns that have got core still in them, and teeth, crowns that have still got roots on them. And how do we know what it's worth? How do we know? And the only way you can find out is by sending it to various different places and getting different quotes. Now, you might say, well, look, okay, you only got 2 quotes. You only sent it to the third place. If you send it to the third place, then you might have got £2,500 quote. And you know, that's true. I take your point. I take your point. The reason why I would say that we didn't do that was partly because of the aggro involved in getting quotes, because we thought getting quotes was fairly easy after we sent it to the first place. After we sent it to the second place, we decided that getting quotes was bloody difficult, and the idea of asking them to send it back and then sending it off to someone else, another third party, and waiting for them to give us a quote was, well, let's say that the £1,500 offer was good enough for me to think, because like, let's look at the two possible alternatives, right? Either that quote is a fair quote, right, and it's certainly in the ballpark of a fair quote, I would say. You know, no, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think they're going to end up with quite a lot of precious metal out of that, but then they've got quite a lot of work to do, haven't they, to crush it all up, sterilise it, sort it, etc., etc. And even then, what are they going to do with it? You know, I mean, they're not going to. They might select a metal ore or someone who can. Then it's got to be smelted down and tested and recast in the correct, you know, whatever. So £1,500, I would say, was probably nearer the ballpark. It's not like you're selling a gold sovereign or something, and you know to within a pound how much it's worth, and it can be resold immediately for that same price. Or the other possibility is that he's he's lowballed us as well, and we've been unlucky and we've got two lowball quotes, and that they just differ very, very widely in how lowball they are. Now, my attitude in accepting the second quote is very much something that they take advantage of, which is that I like to believe in human nature, and I like to think that people are fundamentally fair, and and I don't mind people making a profit, and taking this stuff off my hands, and I certainly will enjoy the extra income that's come in from saving it all. Certainly makes it worthwhile. But what I would do is I would say I'll put on the screen the two places we sent it to, and so that what I recommend you do is you don't just let your nurse collect your scrap and sell it to the bloke who comes in once a month. I think you're probably getting a terrible price for it. And when I say that, I'm going to, we'll work out a price per gram for the horriblest scrap, including all the roots and everything, and then you'll know roughly what's the least you can expect. Okay, and you should get that or more, because if you have crushed it up, taken the roots out of it and stuff like that, then then obviously you'll get more. But I'm just talking about straight out of the patient's mouth into the pot, roots and all. So, but that's really surprised me to have like nearly a threefold difference in the price. I think is outrageous. I think that is clear evidence of an intent to mislead. Not necessarily defraud, but to mislead the customer in terms of the value that they're handing over. And if your policy is just to sell it once a month, then let me tell you, you're probably only getting a third of what you could get if you saved it up for a few years and then got a couple of quotes. I know, at least get a couple of quotes. Just take the higher quote. They will send this stuff back. If you don't, if you tell them that you don't want to do it through them, you want to get another quote, they will understand. They've got to understand, haven't they? And the only thing I would say is, obviously, before you wrap it up, put it in an inner bag and weigh it in the inner bag on a scale that does grams, so that you can weigh it down to the nearest gram. And then when they do send it back, just have a little count of the gold crowns inside. Make sure you've still got the same number of gold crowns, and or even send the gold crowns separately, and then just make sure you've got the same amount of grams back. Not that I think that they're going to nick a few, they might nick a few gold crowns, but then when you've got someone who's acting as sort of in such bad faith in terms of purchasing, you can't be sure that they won't nick a few gold crowns and then just make the weight up with a little bit of crap. You know, these precious scrap metal dealers, that's what they are. They're scrap metal dealers, and they're not really renowned for their honesty and their integrity, are they, scrap metal dealers? Any more than second-hand car dealers are. You know, they're ducking and diving. They need to make a living in their eyes, which includes taking advantage of mug punters like you and me. So I'm really pissed off with this first firm. I'm going to recommend that nobody uses them, because they are not, you know, they're quoted well below the market price. In the off chance that because at the end of the day, any money is free money, isn't it? That's the way we look at it. We look at it as sort of, you know, we didn't buy this stuff. It came to us. It fell into our laps, sort of, pretty much. And so anything we get is better than nothing. Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't rather have a crisp £20 note rather than a pot of manky biohazard type extracted tea? And so, you know, we get to the point where we pretty much sell this stuff for absolutely anything. But you shouldn't, you know, do, as I say, get a couple of quotes, or you can use the firm that we used on the basis that, I don't know, it might be, they're slow, but they might be better than nothing. Better than the competitors anyway. And if you've got someone that you use that you're really happy with, and you know how they work, and you're sure that they pay top dollar and they're very good, then let me know, because, I mean, let me know in about 8 years' time, okay, when I've got a bit more stuff. But if you do, if anyone puts it in the comments below, then obviously I can't vouch for any recommendations, but, you know, as a profession, we should be able to collectively get our heads together, shouldn't we? And see this road here, this narrow road provides access to the whole of East Kent. Margate, Ramsgate, Broadstairs, all up this road. All the traffic converges, and there's another road on the left here that's going to be converging on this roundabout. This Mr. Peugeot here is a bit of a jack my lad. He's going to go up the inside of the... Watch this. There we are. There he goes. Up the inside. You can always tell. Never mind. There's not enough traffic at the moment to worry about it. You know, I'm thirsty. When I've had blood tests, I'm always thirsty afterwards, which is not surprising, is it really? Let's let this bloke out. Flushing pipes. When he's flushing his pipes out, he should put a bit of water on his van, shouldn't he? Look at the state of that. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. It's Friday morning. I've got half a day. I've got a bloke in. He's going to ring us up this morning. We put a bridge on his tooth for him. He's got a upper right 6-7. The 7's missing, and the 6 is root treated. So, and he said he was fed up with getting food stuck up the gap where the 7 was. So we put him a cantilever bridge from the 6 back to the 7, 2 units. abutment Pontic, and I did it. Normally I don't do cantilever bridges. The only reason I did it is he's got nothing underneath the 7 to bite on. So there is no lower right 7. So that's why I did it. And he's rung up already and said it's painful to bite on. So I presume it's a little bit high on the bite or something, because he's got no nerve in the 6. And he can't really be biting hard on the 7 and causing a torsion. You know, some sort of twisting force on the 6. So, and he said it's in the tooth next to the 6, and he wants to know whether I might have damaged the tooth next to the 6 when I was taking the temporary crown off. So this is what I have to put up with on a daily basis, and you do too. I know you do too. So I'm assuming that the 6 is a little bit high, possibly, or he just likes coming in to see me and he wants to, you know, and he thinks he's invented, or he thinks he's got a good reason to come in and as an emergency. It's not really an emergency, is it? I told him I'd have to pay the staff extra to get him to stay on if he wants to come in this morning, but that won't stop him. He'll still come in. All right, nice to talk to you. I hope that's useful. It's a bit of an eye-opener for me, I'll tell you. And I've been in this business a long time, and I've done what you've done. I've always done. I always just send it off, and they say, yeah, you can have 2 and 6 for it, and I just say, all right then, because it's free money. But you shouldn't do. You shouldn't get at least 2 quotes. All right then. Okay. Bye for now.